pinned down and he is locked. There is hand of Narasimha holding down his head. The story of Varaha from Amachitrakatha. So here, this is from Ellora. So you see Varaha lifting Bhuma Devi from the abyss. So how do they depict the abyss? They here you say Patal Lok. Patal Lok is where the snakes and Nagaraja are supposed to live. So they are depicting a snake here with this hood, and from there he leaps. So he comes from beneath and rises above. And what they also do is show sun and moon beneath his level. So mean he is risen from the abyss and moved above the stars, and he has brought the Bhudevi from the abyss and risen her up from the abyss. So that's the depiction, that's the narrative that you get from any Varaha panel.
So good. Now I'm going to have one more hero volunteer from the boys' side. Who is your Superman here? I want one volunteer. Come on, quick. Now, this is from Udayagiri, and this is Varaha being proud of his achievement. So, a volunteer here, please. Otherwise, I'll pick. All sleepy. One of you, come. You're pointing next door. You come. Vanga. What's your name? Come, quick. Now, quick. We don't have time. We have to see more. Come. So now, you got a fan crowd as well. So now, imagine you have achieved something and you're holding it like a trophy. You have rescued the earth, like Marvel Comics. I want you to pose like him. Chest up, broad chest, yeah? Yes. Yeah? You are still in doubt. You should feel that you have achieved something. Yeah? Yes. You're still doubtful. You need a block. Oh, yeah. Good. Thank you. So now, when you go down, all these are depicted in the sculptures. Now you see Veera Rasam, right? So Veera is here. Next we see the poor lady who has been rescued. Now here, what do you see in her face? Now this is the same in Mahabalipuram. Varaha is a little more subdued, not like my friend. He has finished his act. He is now holding her. He is holding her on his lap. So obviously she is a bit shy. So let's see her face next. And before that, I told you the modeling they were using live models. And what is unique in this sculpture is the number of poses the hands are depicted. See, usually if somebody were to devote the hands, you just put this way. Vanakkam is the best. Just put one finger and you can depict like. But here you look at the extent to which the craftsman has gone. No two hands are depicted in the same way. Each one is a different pose, and not only that, more interestingly, the way the feet are depicted. Now, when you draw feet, if you are artists, the most difficult one to draw is front-facing feet. Normally, you will put it like this. No? When you're kids, you draw feet, you'll all be like this. So even if you go to the pyramids in Egypt, you will find all their faces are like this, all their hands are like this. It'll all be unidimensional. But here, you should see this leg. We will see it in more detail in the next. This is a inward facing feet, which is doubly difficult. Next. Now, you see the shyness in her face? No? This big bully has carried her from downstairs and is holding her up as a trophy, and so she's shy. And that neck is slightly bent and looking down. Her eyes are looking down, is not looking up. So this delicate nature of portrayal is what rasa? That's your homework. Go find out. The shy, what is our equivalent for shy? Shy is English, right? Bhayanaka is what? Bhayanaka is what? Scared. Is she scared? No. Then? So you'll have to find out what it is. Yeah? Next. So now we're just going to see, I told you it is difficult. This is in Cambodia. I told you how it's difficult. You see the legs? So now you see our legs versus their legs. Not just ours is better, just saying that our artist had a better understanding of the material and they were obviously more qualified maybe. Next. So you see the legs? They're all gone one side, one side, one side. So again, same. Slightly later actually. This is Cambodia, is about 950. So much later, about 250 years after that. But again, the art has gone, the artist has not gone. So, and you see now the Pallava, how he is sculpted. So you can actually see the feet coming out of the sculpture in 3 dimension. So he has carved it more relief. Again, Cambodia is low relief, maybe that also contributed a bit, and this is a slightly deeper relief. But what is interesting is the next one. You see the leg is actually pointing inward. So this is the toe. So all that to be able to sculpt in the hardest stone known to man, granite. And who is going to see in one corner one guy standing facing the painting, just put one leg and go? No, that is the dedication of the sculptor. He was perfect to the extent that even one last right hand corner, bottom, forgotten place, nobody looks, but still I will show my best work. So again, next time you go to a holiday in Cambodia, please visit. It's not all bad. It's got lovely sculptures. We are going to see a couple of them now. What is this depiction? Any guesses? Somebody is pulling? Very good. The churning of the Milky Ocean. So there were 2 sides. One side was? Great. The other side was? So now this is the rope and the next. So this depiction is almost 70 feet. It's a panel that is 70 feet long and it depicts one of the most interesting panels. So what came out of the churning? Very good. So you've read your Amachitra Katha as well. So now, what was used to anchor the mountain? The rope was Vasuki. What was? Next. You see, there is your tortoise. Yeah? So that's your Kurma avatar. And here they show Vishnu himself in person as well as standing on. So as Arvind said, you have both the depictions. His Kurma form and he himself standing there. And this panel is an interesting panel. We see a lot of these depictions across Southeast Asia. Yeah. One. So Angkor, this panel is dated to the 12th century. Now how many of you have gone to Karnataka? Any Bangaloreans here? What is this? So we go to Hoysala. Hoysala art is slightly later, but it's also very unique. It's highly ornamented in the sense that it's excessively ornamented. We see that now. Now this story, how many of you have seen? This is a precursor to somebody is testing whose skill? Sugriv is testing Rama's skill, whether he'll be able to defeat Vali. What was Vali's boon? Anybody stands in front of him, half his strength will be his. So obviously you have to hit him from behind, outside. So whether Rama's arrow had the capacity to pierce Vali. So what was the check? He had to shoot an arrow through 7 trees. And these 7 trees were not in a straight line. So how do you... There was no guided missile then, right? So what Rama did was he saw underneath, he is human but God form. So he saw a snake that was sleeping. Snake Daman was sleeping underneath the soil with its tail between the trees. So he went and pressed the tail hard. So when somebody presses the tail, what do? You wake up. So when the snake woke up, all the trees got aligned in a single straight line and he left the arrow. That depiction, we see that. Yeah. There. You see? Rama pressing the snake's tail, all the trees. How many trees? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. And this is a composite sculpture. In the sense that they didn't waste another arrow. So they put the same arrow as going and hitting Wali. Is just a depiction. So he's put two scenes into one. Again, just to show the difference. So I want you to also look at how different artists, different craftsmen, different dynasties handle the same concept. So you saw in Ellora, less ornamentation, but the human form, the dance, what Arvind described, the ballet, the way Narasimha was spinning down was all depicted. Here, it's become more ornamented, every possible, and look at the intestines are all become a garland now. Now, we jump. No, we tend to jump. This is a very interesting, one of the most unique temples in Siam Reap in Cambodia. It's called Phra Viha. It's got some amazing lintels. We call it the lintel panels. You see that in many places, but some of the depictions, in fact, there's one depiction that is not found anywhere else in the world. This is easy. What is this depiction? Wali Sugriv. So what he has done basically is it's become composite. Rama shoots the arrow, Wali Sugriv fighting, arrow hits, Wali is down, he's got arrow in his chest, he opens it out and sees it's Rama's signature. Then he starts arguing with Rama. Why you didn't fight me straight? Why you hit me from behind? So what does Rama say? I'm a Kshatriya, you are an animal, I can kill you how I want. Over, story over. Now, let's see if you can find this story. You all have class bullies, right? I was all bully, no? There must be some bullies among you. Who's a bully? Fight me. Lunchtime fights. There is a bully. You fight. So, there are two bullies in this world, in our itihasas. One bully is the bully, Ravana. Ravana will take up a fight with everybody. So she was going in his plane, his Pushpak Viman, personal bombardier jet, and he saw this monkey worshipping Shivling. He's like, what is this monkey worshipping Shivling? So he landed nearby, he went and he wanted to catch the monkey's tail and throw it out. Now he didn't realize it was Wali. So now you see the brilliance of the sculptor. What is Wali's boon? Anybody comes in front, half of its strength will come. Here, Ravana has gone only behind Wali. So just Wali's tail strength, it caught him and bound him. And Wali didn't even know Ravana was caught. So he is still busy praying to Shiva. And Ravana, all his 10 heads, 20 heads, 10 hands, or 10 heads, 20 hands. Yeah, he's all caught, bound by. And not only that, Wali's daily morning ritual was 4 corners of the world he'll jump and pray to Shiva. So he jumped 1, 2, 3, 4 with Ravana hanging on his tail. So Ravana was taught a lesson. And this is depicted in a very miniature panel. Again, references there. Read your Amachatrikta. Now, the next time when Ravana is humbled, again, Bombardier jet goes towards Kailash. Shiva is downstairs, Parvati is there. The jet says, God is downstairs, I cannot go. What does Ravana do? Get down, I will not. No, he's like Rajnikant. My way, highway. I will not change direction. I will move the mountain. So he goes, lifts the mountain up. When you lift the mountain up, Parvati is scared. She runs and jumps on Shiva's lap. There, you see. So she is on his lap, looking down, scared. So what does Shiva do? Macho man just puts his toe down. Cockroach. Like squashing a cockroach, Ravana is caught. Now what is interesting is see how the Cambodian artist has depicted Ravana. His head's not like our style, it's like a spiral. And you see all the animals are scared of him. And this is another version of how they have adapted our Puranas. And 1000 years ago, our art, not only our art, our stories also went across the seas. This is another interesting depiction in India. Now, the interesting part is this is in Ellora. What is interesting here is, again, when bullies like him get caught, kneel down outside, all the small guys make fun, right? When the bully is caught. So here Ravana is caught. Now you see what this Gana is doing. Laughing at him. Showing his hand and he is making fun. Ravana is caught here, Shiva and Parvati are seated. And look at this Gana, he's taking a scale and beating his hand. He's got a scale in his hand. This is Ravana's hand. He's beating. And look at this. He's showing his bum to Ravana. He's bending down and showing his bum. So all these small cute Ganas, or Shiva Ganas, are real monsters. So imagine if, though that's the scale of the sculpture. Now imagine if Ravana was not been caught. These Ganas would be running away, no? So now when he's caught, pride goes before a fall. Next. So there, you see the Gana beating him, making fun, and look at this fellow. Cute fellow. Yeah. Now, this is an interesting depiction I saw in central Vietnam. It's a very interesting unknown dynasty, not many people know, called Mison in central Vietnam. Here again was this panel. This is completely bombed out during the Vietnam War, but this survived. And this depiction is again Ravana Anugraha Murti, which is a story of Ravana being humbled, but slightly earlier, 6th, 7th century. Now, what is interesting in this panel is the depiction of Ravana's heads. Just go on, just keep typing. See here, this is how it was when it was originally there, excavated. Afterwards, it suffered some damage. Shiva is broken, this panel is broken. This is how he is shown. So go on. Just keep going on. Just keep going. Yeah, just hold that. See how brilliantly, like a pack of cards, no? They have depicted the heads. So these are the small things that show the skill of the artist. Being different, not just copy, innovate. The storyboard is the same, the concept is the same, Ravana is the same, the heads are the same, but each artist has picked his own style of showing it. Now, just to get you interested, this is the cricket season, right? IPL is just over. This is a Ganesha. And don't tell me what Ganesha has got to do with IPL. But this is a very special Ganesha. He is from central Vietnam. I call him the Chris Gayle Ganesha. Why? Now, you will know why I call him the Chris Gayle Ganesha. You know? So this is interesting. The artist there imbibed our culture, but not exactly. They tried to bring in local influences. So when you go and see a Khmer Shiva, if you see a Vietnamese Shiva, there will be a little bit of local influences. You go to Sri Lanka, for example, their way of depicting our gods will be slightly different. And these are very interesting. Even inside India, different dynasties will have a different way of depicting. And this aging is important for us to date sculptures, to date dynasties. Later, when we do the second session and the third session, we hope you will see the differences. These slight, subtle differences, once you start seeing more and more, you will get used to it. Now again, just to show you, these are brick temples of central Vietnam. Our temples were also made of brick earlier. Now all your temples that you are seeing, granite temples, structural temples, were earlier brick temples. The next subsequent kings worked on it. Because brick was perishable, they converted it to granite. So some of the, if you go up north into the west, you will see vestiges of brick temples. Even in South India, you have a few brick temples. So this is again a rare depiction of Muruga in Vietnam, Skanda, on a peacock. So unfortunately, some robbers chipped off his face. Just keep going. So art theft is a big problem. We are trying to combat it. So his face was cut off and sold. His face was intact earlier. We have the photos. Great. Go on. So you see a beautiful peacock sculpted. Okay, we come to the piece de resistance. This is the masterpiece of Pravyar. Now this story is very important because, as I told, this is not seen anywhere else in the world. It's the only place you see this story being depicted. This is called the story of burning of the Kandava forest, Kandava Dahanam. Now what happens, Krishna is very smart. You have Krishna on your side, you can never fail. He knows all the dirty tricks. So one of the dirty tricks Krishna wanted, how many of you seen Bahubali? So Bahubali, they shoot arrows, right? So what do they take the arrows from? A quiver. So how many arrows will be in a quiver? Say 20, 30? So after 30, what will you do? You have to refuel. Where? So Krishna thought about it that time itself. He said Agni has a unfinishable quiver. It's a divine weapon. You take, like Ramanand Sagar's Ramayana, new arrow will come. The quiver will never be empty. But how do you get that? So Agni was cursed by Indra to be always hungry. And Agni was wandering around like an old man. He comes to Arjuna and Krishna and begs for alms. He says, I'm hungry. I want to eat this forest. Forest fire. But Indra is not allowing me to eat because Indra has friends inside. Who's the friend? One snake family. So Krishna says, what will you give me in return? So what do you want? The unquenchable quiver. Given. So here you see Krishna here and Arjuna here. They are standing guard, and here Agni is starting to devour the forest. The animals are all running helter-skelter. The people are all praying to Indra. Indra sends Varuna, and there is going to be a deluge. We should, in Chennai, we should get like that, right? Be good to have a lot of rain. So what does Arjuna do? What is Arjuna famous for? Archery. So what he does, he makes a roof of arrows over the forest, and it stops all the rain on top. So here you see almost like the water. So none of the rain percolates down and the forest is decimated. But the mother snake does the ultimate sacrifice. It swallows its baby, gets burnt, but spits out. So you see the mother snake here, and out of its mouth a small snake. You know who is the snake? This snake is brought up by Indra, and he is given to Karna in return for his Kavasa and Kundala as the Nagastra, which Karna wants to use against who? Why does he want to use it? Because the snake wants to kill Arjuna, because he killed his family. But unfortunately there also Krishna comes, lowers the chariot, and it escapes with his talapagada. It goes off with the crown. So this entire story is depicted in just this one piece, and you can see the big snake, small snake. What's Indra's three-headed elephant, white elephant called? Airavat. So you see all that. You see the roof of arrows. The birds are even not able to move out. The fire happening, and all this is depicted brilliantly. This is in Pravyar, just outside Siam Reap. It's about 35 kilometers in Cambodia. Yeah. Go. Just keep going. So that's the close-up, and there you can see more detail. Now we come to our favorite temple, the big temple in Brihadishwara. How old is it? 1002. How do we know that? How do you know that the big temple is 1000 years old? Now, that's another topic that we need to, but we will do it at a later date. The inscriptions are there in Tamil, which can be read. Rajaraja came to power in 986. In his 25th year, 275th day, he granted gold for the top filial to make the Kalasa. So you add 986 plus 25, how much it is? 1010 CE. So that's how we come up with the date for the big temple. It's 1000 years old. What's special about the big temple? Shadow does fall. They're all making you believe in urban myth. Every day, all through the hour, the shadow falls. The top is not a single stone. It is a composite of many stones. Yeah. So now, why we are going there is to see a very different story. So far, we saw all the epics and the Puranas. Now we are going to see a different story. The story of Nayanmar. And not a very normal Nayanmar. This guy is a hunter. Who's a hunter, Nayanmar? Kannappar. So what this fellow did, what did he do? He gave not anything. What did he give Shiva? Before his eye, he gave something else. We go near, he gave it, Udumbukari, monitor lizard. So he was giving Shiva monitor lizard to eat, and the priest was every day cleaning. The next day, fresh biryani used to come. So Shiva decided to teach the priest a lesson. He wanted to prove who is a bigger devotee. So blood came from the priest, ran away, but Kannapar did the first eye transplant. Now this story is also very unique. This story is about a kid. The parents had a choice. You want a IIT topper or a last bencher? But IIT topper will die in 16 years. But the mother and father are like, I think today's mother and father, I want IIT topper at 16. Markandeya, Endrum Padinara. So here, after 16 years, they broke the bad news. So what does Markandeya do? He goes and hugs the Shivling. And here you have Yam Dharmaraj with the lasso going to take him away. At that time, Shiva comes, stops and says, only after 16th birthday, right? I bless him. He'll be forever 16. A nice boon to have, right? Nice boon to have or no? No, not a nice boon. You have to go old or younger? You want to grow older? Maybe you will change your opinion later. Now, here is another interesting panel there. You have to be very careful. If you take somebody like Shiva as your son-in-law, who is Shiva's father-in-law? Daksha. So what happened to Daksha? So he didn't respect Shiva. Dakshayani went into the fire. Veerabhadra came. So that's what is shown here. So Veerabhadra has cut off his head and he's putting it into the fire. So what happened? Solution? Ultimately father-in-law. So they went looking. The first animal's head they want to put. What was the animal they found? Goat. So yeah, animal head transplant. Don't ask me how they did it. So all these are there. So the idea is not to smile. Next time you go to all these temples, just don't go inside, keep your mark sheet, put your request, do this, come out. That you do. I'm saying don't do. Spend some more time, look around, appreciate, and try to show off your new skills to your friends. Yeah, you'll have to find out the stories. Interesting to find out the story, right? If you don't know, you write to us, we will tell you the story. Okay, this is the story of how Arjuna gets the Pasupada Astra. So Arjuna is a good archer, but he needs help. So he goes and prays to Shiva. Shiva comes to test. He doesn't have any other job. No, he won't give like, okay, take it. So he always tests. He comes as a hunter. And there is a boar that comes. Both of them fire an arrow at the same time at the boar. And they fight. So who will win? Of course Shiva. But here, he does not let Arjuna lose. So he gives him the boon. So that is what is depicted. But what is interesting here is, they are equally matched. Arjuna, even though he is fighting God, it doesn't show differently. So here, you see both of them are fighting. So who is Shiva, who is Arjuna? How do you find out? In the story, Parvati came as a hunter's wife. So where do you see a lady beside? And Arjuna was doing Kator penance, Kadundavam. That means here on one leg. Actually, in some places you will see a needle. So he was putting a stove on a needle on one leg, hands up, and punishment. For how many years? Many years. Otherwise you won't get divine weapons, right? You will get only pass mark. Okay, this is one more interesting panel just as a sample. This is in Dharasuram near Tanjore. This is again a Nayanmar story. This Nayanmar is very interesting. Not many people know. He's Meipurul Nayanar. This guy was a very good king. Very valiant king. Nobody could defeat him in war. Next door, like your Kalakeyas, there was one bad king. He was trying a lot of tactics. He couldn't win. Finally he decided, we have to find an alternate means to kill him. So he comes dressed as a wandering monk. Like a Shiva Bhakt, no? Jatamuti, Sadhu. He comes as a Sadhu with marks of Shiva. And this, our good king, is a Shiva Bhakt. So he invites him. He washes his feet, gives him respect. But the good king has a katapa. So his bodyguard is there. He is watching from the side. So this is our olden day Katappa. And this is the bad king dressed as a monk. He has got a flower basket. Inside that basket he's hidden a knife. So you see, this is the knife. And this is the good king, and he is about to put the sword into the neck jugular. That time the bodyguard Katappa comes. But the good king says, puts up his hand, stop, to his bodyguard. He is dressed as a Shiva devotee. Don't kill him. That's the greatest service. He gives up his life. He is killed, assassinated. But he says, don't harm him because he is come dressed as a Shiva devotee. And this entire story is shown in this bigger panel. And there are such, all the 63 Nayanmar stories are depicted. So next time you go there, please. So here he says, Tatta Namarana Taduttu Viltar, meaning Namar, he is one of us. The moment he wears the sacred ash, he is one of us. Don't kill him. Even though he kills me, stop. So that's